All right, making sure. Right, Kahalal, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash, the water Yahweh Hashem Shai, for putting the spirit on me to make this video. Right, once again, all praises, glory and honor due to Yahweh Hashem Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect out there pushing this truth, and shalom to the few women that we might have listening into these videos. All right, to you I say shalom. Now I'm just decided to do a video on the understanding of the confusion of faces. All right, Lord willing, that's going to be the title, but it's on the understanding of the confusion of faces, and that you have nations mingled amongst us. All right, and we're mingled amongst the nations. All right, and what I really wanted to touch on today is these Hamites. All right, and confusion of faces, meaning that, actually I'll just get the precept, Daniel 9:7. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day to the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, unto all of Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespasses that they have trespassed against thee. All right, so wherever the Lord drove us, all right, the Lord gave us, all right, confusion of faces. And you know the word con means with, and fusion, all right, meaning different substances, different things combining into one. All right, so our appearance may look different depending on who the Israelite is. All right, and what I mean by that is you can have an Israelite, right, who looks like a so-called white person, but is indeed an Israelite, right? Meaning his father is an Israelite. His father's father was an Israelite. All right, because it's all about the seed. It's all about who carries the seed, right? Let me just get that really fast. Numbers 1:18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families. Check it out. By the house of their fathers, according to the number of of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. All right, so it's all about who your father is. All right, because your father carries a seed, and you literally are what your father is, meaning you were that seed, that sperm, right, in his balls. You were there, and that's what you are. All right, you're transferred. All right, the sperm goes inside the woman, and the woman fertilizes the egg, but your nationality is from who your father is. All right, and with that being said, you have people like this person, right? Now you look at him on the outward look, all right? Most carnal people say what? That he's a so-called white person. You look at him at first and you just think this is nothing but an Edomite. But when you actually go into it, even without looking at who his father is, right, by telling by his spirit, which the scriptures tell us to do, this man is an Israelite, right? He's very talented in music. He can dance, he can rap, and all around, thoroughly, this man is an Israelite. Now, for those of you unbelieving, you can take a look here, and this is a photo of his father, right? So-called black man, right? And like I just read, you are what your father are, right? So this man, and actually logic, is the very definition of a confusion of face, right? Because he has so-called black man as a father, and his mother is an Edomite. All right, a racist one at that. His mother hates him. All right, from what I remember him saying. But this man's an Israelite, man, and just because he took on some of the appearance of his mother doesn't make it any different. All right, because this is not about the skin, right? This is not about the outward look. Although we say so-called white people are the devil. All right, well, that's because when you go into it, Esau was the first so-called white-looking man, which we know they're not white, they're red. And why do I say they're red? Is because their skin is translucent, right? Like this piece of glass right here is a little bit of see-through, allowing light to pass, right? Like this plastic bottle, Esau's skin is translucent, meaning what? The color of his blood seeps through his skin. Therefore, he is red. Esau is different shades of red, just like we are different shades of brown, right? We are not black, right? The word black means wicked or evil, right? And you look into the word white and it means pure and holy. So Esau is trying to say he's the pure and holy ones, and that we're the wicked and vile ones, when actuality it's them. All right, and like I said, they're different shades of red, all right, because their blood seeps through, right? Their skin is translucent, you know, it's see-through, you know, like these things right here, you know, their blood seeps through these. All right, but going back, you know, Esau was the first born, one of the first. He was the first person to look like a so-called white person, right? That's why when we go into the story, Genesis 25 and 23, it says, "And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, like I just went into, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau." Right? And you go into the Hebrew word for the word Esau, it means Ashashua, and where you say it as Ashashua, which means wasted away is he. Why? Because his pigmentation is wasted away. So when Esau came out, they were like, Ashashua, wasted away is he. Right? And that's why when you read on in verse 26, when it's saying when Jacob came out, check this out, right? Verse 26. "And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob." Now, did you notice something different? Was that they didn't describe how Jacob looked. And the reason being is because Jacob, when he came out, looked like everybody else. He had pigment. He was brown. He was a shade of brown. But Esau, they seen Esau, and he did not look like anybody that they had seen, right? And that's why they named him Esau. And they said he came out red all over like an hairy garment, all right? Because his pigment was wasted away, all right? So the majority of these so-called white people, they come from Esau, all right? Because they are the people who lack pigmentation. But you have our also Israelite who look like Esau, like this man right here. This is a clear example. His skin is red. He is a shade of red. All right, but he's actually an Israelite. So you can't get it confused that not all so-called white people are Edomites. All right, you got to use spiritual discernment and be able to tell by the Spirit, like it says in Romans 8. Romans 8 and 16. "For the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, that we are Yasha Allah," meaning he, the prince of the power. All right, Yasha Allah Yasha'Allah is the Hebrew word for Israel, meaning he, the prince of the power. All right, and Salakia. We were scattered among all the nations. All right, so a lot of us have taken on the appearance of these other nations. Right? But going back to the main point, what I wanted to focus on is here is you have someone like Barack Obama, right? You can't only look at it as our people may look like other people, but you got to look at it as these heathens, all right? Barack Obama may look like us, or people perceive that they are us, when really they're not, right? Because the same thing that happened to this man, right? You can flip-flop and you can have an Edomite father and then an Israelite woman, right? And let's say they have a kid. The kid could turn out looking as the father, right? Looking like an Edomite. But in actuality, it's like I said, I'm not sure what I just said before. You know, this flesh, I just lost my train of thought for a second, but you can have an Edomite father who looks, Edomite father who's an Edomite, and then Israelite woman, right? He can marry an Israelite woman and they have a kid. And he can come out looking like the Israelite woman, but he's indeed a heathen. He's indeed an Edomite, because the seed of his father goes back to Esau, right? The so-called white man. But he can be dark skinned. He can have pigment, you know, just because he took some looks from his mother. But he's actually a demon, man. He's actually a heathen. All right. So you can't forget about the flip-flop. You know, you gotta look at things circumspect. All right. You gotta look at things from the whole point of view. Right? You have a logic right here who looks like an Edomite who's an Israelite, and you have this dude Barack Obama who looks, people look at him and they say he's an African American, right? He's a so-called black man, but he's not. Barack Obama is actually an Hamite, and this is one form of confusion of faces, all right? Because a lot of people may mistook people that just because they have pigment in their skin that they're an Israelite, and not everyone with pigment in their skin is an Israelite. All right, all the nations used to have pigment in their skin. All right, besides Esau, he was the first to come out looking like a so-called white man. All right, but these Hamites have pigment in their skin, and we are not of the Hamites. And when I say Hamites, they are the true inhabitants of Africa, the true people of the land. All right, because you have the slave trade that happened, right? If you take a look here, let me zoom in a little more as much as I can. It's like it's a little blurry. Alright, zoomed in as much. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right here, but this is where Israel is, right? This is where Israel, Jerusalem is, right? And you have, as you can see, Africa right here. So during 70 AD, we fled Israel from Roman persecution. We fled into the western hemisphere of Africa. So we fled over here. All right. And the reason I bring this up is because I was talking about Barack Obama and how he people mistook him for an Israelite looking like a so-called black man when he's actually an African, or a true African, a Hamite, a part of the people that sold us into slavery when we fled into Africa from Roman persecution in 70 AD, right? We fled on the west coast of Africa, All right, over here, as you can see, all right, we didn't flee right here or here or here because the Romans could easily find us if we fled right here. So we fled all the way in this area. Part of us fled in this area to the western hemisphere of Africa. All right, and this is where the main, this is where majority of the slave trade took part on the west coast right here, because this is where the sea coast was, right? This is where ships would come in, set up docks, and they would import and export goods, in which we were their goods at that time. All right, so we fled Roman persecution into Africa, into the land of the Hamites, and then the Hamites sold us to the so-called white man. All right, that's because you have people who get it confused and they say blacks sold blacks. That's not true. First of all, no one on this entire earth is black. Like I said, they're a shade of brown. All right, and it was Hamites who sold Israelites into slavery. All right, and when you look into it, Barack Obama, his father, right, it says Barack Hussein Obama Sr. was a Kenyan senior governmental economist and the father of Barack Obama. All right, so his father was from Kenya. Now, let me try to get a photo. I know I seen a photo of Barack Obama with his Hamite family. All right, and you know you're gonna have some people that just won't get it. You know, they'll still think he's an Israelite. All right. All right, but we're spiritual men. You know, we judge things. We look at things more so in a spiritual perspective. And we can clearly see that Barack Obama is not an Israelite. You know, he has no flavor. He can't dance. Look at this demon, man. But a specific photo I was trying to find. Let me see. If I can't find it, then, you know, well. There it is. All right, this is Barack Obama, him with his family. All right, all his family from Kenya. All right, so you can see these Hamites right here. Okay, and I got a few photos from the people of Kenya, where Barack is from. All right, he's not an African American. His father goes back to Kenya, which is these people. And like I said, you have our people that are mingled among the nations. Right, but the majority of these people, a lot of these people are Hamites. Right, as you can see, they got these weird piercings that they do. All right, I know some part in Kenya, the people actually make their houses out of cow poop, and it's like a delicacy for them. Some of them, like, you know, some of the tribes they got over there, it's like a delicacy for them to drink cow's milk, like fresh cow's milk, something weird like that, straight from the freaking cow. You know, and it's clear as day that we aren't these people, and that these are different type. Come on, look at these people. You know, keep this image in mind. You know, these people that allow their women to walk around with their tits out, which we practically do too as well over here in America. You know, they walk around half naked, but, you know, these people are just wilding out. But these are Hamites, all right? So keep in mind these people right here, and take a look at these people. Look at the devil, right? But you can look and clearly see that these are different people. You know, we're natural people, and when the scripture said when the scripture said in Genesis, back when Esau and Jacob were being born, and the Lord said 2 manner of people will be in thy bowels, we are two different manners of people from these heathens as well. We are different people from these heathens. All right, we are clearly not the same people. Okay. I didn't get as many good photos as I wanted to, because the devil always got to be everywhere, but you get the point. You know, these people right here are very different from these people you can see right here. All right, and that's going into the confusion of faces. All right, because people will get it confused that Barack Obama is an Israelite just because his skin is black, or it's like he has brown skin. And that's not the case. That he is not an Israelite. All right, he is a Hamite. He comes from a dirty and wicked people. All right. Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. All right, so we are clearly a different people. All right, the Lord put a solid difference between us and the rest of these heathen nations. All right, going back to it's about to close in a little bit, but people can't get this dude and other people along with him mistaken that he is an Israelite. All right, because you have our people that may look like Edomites, but indeed they are Israelites. But you have people that may look like us, and that was the main point of this video. You got a popular dude like him that may look like us, but he's actually a heathen. All right, and he's not to be trusted. All right, so that was pretty much all I wanted to go into, just showing you the difference, that we are different people. Look at everything with your spiritual eyes, discern everything. Make sure you always watch and look so you can tell who is Israel and who is not Israel. All right, because we are mingled among the nations, and the nations also look like us. But with that, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect.